Madam Jennifer from Educare TZ. Welcome my lovely Form 1 students in our proceeding lecture series of biology, and we are currently starting a new topic known as classification of the living things. This topic comprises different subtopics which we will cover, and the first subtopic is known as the concept of classification. The second one is classification system. The other one is major groups of living things, and the last one is binomial nomenclature. In this topic, my lovely former students, we will look on how different group of organisms are grouped depending on their groups. Also, we will see different classification system and the application in the process of grouping the organism depending on their similarities and difference. Also, we will see the major groups of the living things as well as the ways of assigning this scientific name and writing this scientific name to different groups of organisms. You are welcome. By starting with our first subtopic, which is the concept of classification, now we'll see the definition of the classification. Classification comes from the term classes. Classes meaning madarasa. So now, the classification, this is a process of grouping organisms according to their similarities and difference. So that's process of grouping organisms depending on the features they have in the common, and features that are not in common is what is known as classification. So organisms that are similar are placed in the same groups, and these similarities can be in terms of their evolutionary relationship or the way they carry out life processes like feeding, reproduction, respiration, nutrition, excretion, and reproduction. So organisms are classified or are grouped in their classes depending on the similar characteristics they share depending on the evolutionary relationship. This means that the phylogenetic relationship that organisms have. In here, we look on their common ancestors. Also, depending on the process in which they carry out different life processes like respiration, how they respire, namna gani wanakuwa wanafanya respiration, either by aerobic or anaerobic means, or on how they reproduce, either they reproduce asexually or sexually, how they feed, are they autotroph or heterotroph, and how they looks like, on how they move. So this is all about the classification system. Now, the taxonomy, this is the field of biology that deals with the classification of organisms. So the field of biology which deals with the classification of organisms is what is known as taxonomy. And the taxonomist, huyu ni mtu ambaye anadili na classification of the living things. So the person who is dealing with the study of classification of organism is what is called a taxonomist. And this is the kind of the different organisms or living things which are found in our really environment. And now we will see on how we can classify them. The first one here we have the snail. The second one we have the tree as a living things also. See, we have the crocodile. Also we have beast fish. Here we have the lion. Also this is a tree. So these are some of the common organisms which are found in the environment. Now, what are the importance of classification? Kuna mgani wa kuweza classify, or is there any importance of grouping organisms into their classes? So what are they now? So the first one, the grouping them make easier to study and identify them because member of groups have many characteristics in common. Kwa hiyo unapokuwa tuna group organism into their groups meaning that inakuwa ni rahisi kuweza kuwasoma our organism kwa haraka. Kwa mfano, the grouping of animalia. Ukiangujua kwa animalia, you know, within the animalia we have different phyla. Now there tunaweza identify that this organism belong to this particular kingdom, and because anakuwa na character 1, 2, 3. So this is all about the importance of classification. Tukizungumzia plantae, tukizungumzia fungi, tukizungumzia monera, utaweza kujua kwamba monera comprises viruses and bacteria. So now it is all about the importance of classification. The second one, it make communication among biologists in the world easier. Vile vile inafanya communication among biologists easier. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu tunakuwa tuna only one group of living organisms. Tunajua kwamba we have this group of organism, huyu hapa ana belong katika kingdom fulani, katika phyla fulani, katika division fulani. Kwa hiyo hapa ina facilitate watu kuweza kuwasiliana internationally kwa sababu organism wanakuwa na their specific groups. And the other one, it enables scientists to predict the characteristics of organism based on the characteristic of group it belongs. By knowing the groups of organism, different scientists can predict their characteristics. Example, when we talk on the kingdom Monera, what's coming in your mind that the kingdom Monera, this comprises bacteria. Now, what are their characteristics? First of all, they are prokaryote. The second one, they are unicellular. So this is all about the importance of classification. You can predict the characteristics of organism by knowing the group they belong. The other one, it's helped to understand how organisms are related in terms of the evolutionary history. The organisms are grouped depending on their common feature they have in common. In this common similarity they have is mainly based on the evolutionary relationship by looking on their descendants or by looking on their common ancestors. Also, there are two main biological classification systems which are used all over the world, and these classification systems are natural and artificial classification. So these are the main classification systems which are used in biology. So the first one is artificial classification system. Now when we talk on the artificial classification system, this meaning that's the process of grouping organisms based on the few features that they have in common or based on the few observable features. So here we look on only the few observable or external features that organisms have. Now it involves grouping organisms according to few observable features or morphology. Now, for example, the presence of wings and legs. For example, you can group organisms depending on the organism which have wings and those which do not have wingless. Also, with those having the legs and those legless. So all of organisms which will have wings will be grouped in the same group. Also, organisms which lack wing will be grouped in another group. So that is how artificial classification works. Let's take an example. If we have the different group of organisms, we have the bats, we have the birds, also we have the insect. So long as insect like bees, so long as bees, also bats as well as birds both have wings, so they will be classified in the same group. And take an example, snail, take an example, earthworm, take an example, snake. These organisms are legless. So we will classify them into the same group because both of them do not have a leg. So this is all about the artificial classification. So therefore, birds, bees, and bats will be placed in the same group because they have wings. And those organisms which will appear without wings, like snail, like snake, like as well as earthworm, will be grouped in another group because they lack wings. Also, when we come in terms of legs, also we'll consider them. Now, artificial classification also involves classifying organisms according to their size, shape, and how they move, where they live on, and what they eat. Vile vile tunaweza tukatumia artificial classification katika kuclassify organism kwa kuangalia size, their body size. Are they large? Are they medium sized? Are they small? Also by looking on their shape, also by looking on their locomotion. How do they move? Also where they live. Are they living in aquatic environment? Are they living in terrestrial? Also on what they eat. Are they herbivores? Are they carnivores? Are they omnivores? And so forth. Also, Aristotle used the artificial classification to classify plants according to their shape, according to their size, and whether they are useful to man or not. So Aristotle, one of the scientists, carried out this artificial classification system to classify these plants according to their shape, mambo yao according to their size, and their usefulness to the human being. What are the advantages of the artificial classification system? As we already said that it's based on the few observable features. So what is the advantages? The first one, it is based on simple and easily observable features. This process of classification, it is very simple and based on morphological features or easily observable features, so meaning that anyone can perform it. The second one, it is stable since it does not change over time or discover of organism. This system is stable, as we already said that. So long as we consider only these few observable features. So, example tukiangalia kuna bats, kuna bees, vile vile kuna ndege, tukishasema kwamba this organism they belong to the same group kwa sababu they have wings. So, it does not change, meaning that wakiwa wana wings they will be on the same group as winged organism. Wakiwa hawana wings and it will remain like that, it won't change. So that is one of the advantages of the artificial classification system. The third one, it is simple to identify and classify organism, since newly discovered organism with just a few known features can be easily fitted in. The other one, it is less expensive because it uses few observable features for grouping. Vile vile ni less expensive, does not need the scientific investigation, scientific research, the approval, making the other scientific research by traveling, by presenting the proposal, by presenting the findings, kwa sababu tunakuwa tunaangalia tu few features ambazo zinakuwa ni zinaonekana. The other one, it does not require highly skilled personnel, and this is why any person can perform it. Sio lazima ahitajike scientist ambayo yuko well equipped with the scientific knowledge of different group of the living organism, knowledge of plant, knowledge of virus or bacteria, parasitology. It is very, very simple. Even you can perform it. Now, what are the disadvantages of artificial classification system? This system results to unrelated organisms in their internal makeup are grouped together, are not grouped together because of few external resemblance features. So, unrelated organisms in their internal structure or in their genetic makeup are grouped in the same group kwa sababu ya few resemblance they have. Kwa mfano, bats and bees are grouped together by looking on the external resemblance. Kwa kuwa wote wanakuwa na wing, they are classified in the same group, lakini internally they are not the same. The other one, the similar organism may be placed in different groups because of the use of few observable features. Vile vile organism ambao wanafanana in their internal features are grouped into different group because of the features or on different external morphological features. Kwa vile vile organism ambao wanakuwa na same morphology wanakuwa na big group katika other groups kwa sababu ya characters walizonazo za nje, because it's only based on these external features. Also, it provides limited information about each member. Vile vile haitoi taarifa kamili kuhusu each group of organism. For example, organisms like bacteria and viruses are grouped together because they are microscopic. So here the classification system was based on the size. So bacteria and viruses are grouped together kwa sababu wote ni microscopic, but in reality they are not of the same class. The other one, it is less accurate because it uses only few observable characteristics. It cannot be subjected to scientific approval because it is based only on these few observable features. And these are how the artificial classification looks like. Here we have the birds, we have the bats and bees are grouped together because they have wings. And snake, snail as well as earthworm are grouped in the same class because both are legless. Now let us consider the second system of classification, which is the natural system of classification. This system of classification, this involves the both internal and external features in classification system. So organisms are grouped based on many features in common, particularly related to evolutionary relationship. So this system of classification based on many features organisms have in common, and these features based on their evolutionary relation, how are they related depending on their ancestors. Example, primate and human being are classified on the same group kwa sababu they belong to the same ancestor. Also, in this system, character that allow homology of origin must be distinguished from those exhibit analogy or symmetry of use. So katika system of classification, the homologous structure or internal structure which have been evolved from the same ancestor are distinguished from this acquired structure as a result of the adaptation to the environment, which is analogy. So, for example, the arm of man, forelimbs or wales and wings of bird are homologous structure. Kwa mfano, tukiangalia mkono wa binadamu, the forelimbs of whales as well as wings, mabawa ya ndege pamoja na mabawa ya ndege, these are homologous structure. They are homologous structure kwa nini? Both evolved from the same kingdom. And now, why are they grouped together? Kwa sababu wanakuwa wanashare the common ancestor, lakini wanakuwa na perform different features or characteristic on the external environment as a result of the adaptation. Kwa mfano, binadamu anatumia limbs zake kwa ajili ya kula, whales kwa ajili ya kutembea, birds anatumia mikono yake au limbs zake kwa ajili ya flying. And in contrast, the wings of bees and insect have same function. Hapa tunaangalia analogous. Externally, the wings of bees and insect are not of the same origin, lakini a result of the adaptation to the environment, wote wanakuwa wana used for flight. So this system of classification inasaidia katika distinguishing this homology and analogous structure. Now, what are the advantages of natural classification? It's all organisms which are not genetically and evolutionarily related to be grouped together. So this system of classification is all organisms which are genetically and evolutionarily related to be grouped together. This is which we remove this note. Also, it is more accurate. Why it is more accurate? Because it involves scientific research for gathering information before actual grouping. So it is more accurate because it can be subject to different scientific research and findings. Also, it allows addition of new features when they are discovered. So it is also allow the discovery of new features to be used in all process of classification. Also, it enables placing of newly discovered organisms into groups they belongs. That was all about the advantage of the natural classification system. What are the disadvantages of natural classification system? Today I know now you can predict the disadvantage of the natural classification system. The first one, my lovely Form 1, it is very expensive. Why it is very expensive? Because it involves a lot of time in making or in collection of the data.